Okay, so hopefully we're live on a live stream, ready to do an unboxing of the new Nreal One. So it'd be interesting to see. We just check if we've got the new. Yep, we're on live stream. Okay, so let's have a little look. So first of all, the standard HoloLens capabilities, which I've reviewed probably 3 or 4 years ago, give a standard XR what I try to class as mixed reality, so the augmentation between kind of overlay of information. So these obviously are a $5,000 device, or 10,000 depending on which one you're using. Today, ahead of the actual official release, I've got the new XREAL One, which comes out in theory tomorrow. I'm not quite sure why I got it today. And you can see here, this is the new X1 chipset, which is shared within the Pro as well. So, the X1 is specifically designed for AR. So it's got a 3 millisecond motion to photon latency. So for those who aren't used to those kind of stats, things like the Apple Reality Pro and some of the more advanced devices all need to have under 10 milliseconds motion to photon, or motion to render to photon, which is kind of how long it takes to do. So we're going to get these out. Now, just as a bit of a pretense, what I've done, I'll just quickly take this away and move these here. So if we quickly have a look, so these are obviously the latest X1 areas. Now behind is the XREAL, because obviously they had a rename back in a few years back, before they were called Nreal, which was the previous generation. Now interestingly, just pulling these ones out, the first generation were the ones that actually were the best generation out of the two. So even though these new ones improved their capabilities, the actual quality of them, and the viewing was really bad. And the reason for that primarily was two things. One was they had challenges with what I would call the IPD, which is the distance between your eyes, and how that's different for different people. So what you'll see behind me is the Oculus Pro and obviously the HoloLens V2. Both of those used eye tracking to then, in theory, remove the distance to know what your distance is between your eyes, and therefore it doesn't give you that blurry kind of thing. This isn't available on these ones because these are a bit physical. So these work brilliantly for me, but these ones I can't really see out of at all. So even though they're a new generation, they completely weren't able to process it. So anyway, let's get this unboxed and we'll see what the difference is between the 3 generations now of phones. So obviously these were just purely augmented reality, so just overlaying in essence a 100-inch screen. This is now taking it a little bit further, so you can in essence dock that screen perfectly in your horizon. So if you're moving your head backwards and forwards, the screen still acts like in essence a 147-inch TV. So yeah, so we've got the Nreal box that's looking surprisingly similar to the previous generation, and as you can probably see coming out of the back of it, you've got this adapter which is pretty critical, that would allow you to in essence charge the device as well as pass through in essence the display port, which is what you need to actually get the thing. So you need to have like a Thunderbolt equivalent. So flatter at the bottom, but if we open those up, you can see there's a bit of protective foam put onto this. One of the things I didn't like about both these generations is the cable is really short, so it does work with the Thunderbolt extension, but it's a proprietary cable, so if you try and plug any other USB connection into it, it just doesn't work. But anyway, let's get this one out so we can connect them in. And then of course, they come with this kind of plastic cover on the front of them, and that should in theory be able to auto dip them down. That's not very easy to get off. But yeah, so now we can see. So there's not much difference now between the generations. They're not feeling slightly different on the heads, but you can see the plastic is considerable when it comes to the generation drop. There's not much difference there, even if anything, the second generation are worse than the third generation. And you can see these are, in essence, you could change the plastics, so you could do your best attempt at doing an IPD, but it didn't really work. All of them having the C on the end, right? So opening these up, the big change, I suppose, is also you've got spatial audio on these. So this is now done by Bose, which they've not actually written on to the side, which is surprising when they're rebadging this. But the Bose sound is, in essence, 3.0, which doesn't really quite make any sense, but especially as it's kind of connecting into the back. But anyway, so that's that. And then what we've got in the actual box, not quite sure what else we'd need. Okay, so there's the medium and large adapters, so you can put these on. Usually, whatever version you use, you find that they're not very comfortable anyway. And then a cleaning cloth, which is pretty standard. Okay, so let's get these ones going. Now I'm going to try it with my phone first, because that's the easiest test with USB-C, and get some Netflix. Now, one of all the problems with these is when you connect, it changes your audio source from, in essence, your Bluetooth or whatever else it is, directly into your phone to these USB-C devices. So I'm just going to put some Bo Jackman on, and what we'll see, eventually get some internet connectivity, is when I plug this in, what typically happens as well, which is annoying because you have to connect into the you have to be connected to the Wi-Fi when you're doing it, is it'll actually update the actual drivers onto the device, and you can only ever put it in this end, which is really annoying as well, which is the thing. So I'm going to put that in, and even though I've not got anything going at the moment, let's just plug this in to the connection, and in theory, leave that there. What we should see, as you can see, it says, are you connecting the headphones? Yes, these are headphones. And then if I just put them on for a second, what I should see, in this case, is a whole stack of Japanese, which is telling me Ola. I'm guessing it's telling me language selection. Okay, English. I think there's some plastic on here. Click the X button to switch between display modes. After completing the guide, click X button. I'm guessing X button is that. Brightness and dimming. Yep, I know that. Long press. Adjust electronic dimming. Brightness adjustment. Okay, so a longer press for that, and a single click for that. Okay, perfect. Shortcut button. Click to transparency mode. So there's a button on the top there, which is new. Yep. And you can, and then there's a menu, which I'm guessing is double click the X. Okay, double click this one to bring up the menu. Okay, so that's interesting, and like you can see, you've still got the plastic bits in here. Just take these off. And you know, you're probably not going to be able to see it, but there's try it with the thing, you might just be able to. No, you're not going to see that. It's going to be really basic, and you have to put it on your head. Okay, so double click the X to close the menu, double click the X to close the menu. Okay, so fine. Right, complete tutorial, X to complete. Okay, so now I can see, oh, that's much more interesting. So the screen is literally perfectly there, and it's not moving, it's stationary. It's obviously doing some tracking with the area. So let me bring that up. That's following me around. So that's pretty much what it is, but there is actually a bit of a delay where it is moving and tracking. Anchor, again, I think is, okay, so press the X button. We want the first option is screen size. What screen size do you want? 147 inch. Yeah, 191 inch. So more than what they said on the actual website, but fine, we'll go with the 198. The problem is I need to put some content on so it goes into the full screen. Okay, so this is now playing some content. Alright, I'm going to hopefully be able to turn the volume down on one of these. Oh, I think you have to use the... Okay, so that's dropped off. Alright, so the anchor is interesting. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, so anchor's in there, double click, screen size 191, 47, and literally you can change whatever thing. 197 is the top screen. Screen distance 4 meters. I'm guessing if I bring that closer, it comes closer to me. Yeah, that's fine. Ultra wide mode puts it into a ridiculous kind of 244 inch screen, which is not necessary, and then 3D movies, which is 3D side by side, which this isn't going to render because there isn't a 3D image, so it's trying to do that by itself. Okay, so side view, okay, okay, stabilizer, 3D mode, side view positioning, display optimization, color temperature, auto sleep, and then IPD adjustment. Okay, so with that you have to put your distance in. Okay, that's fine. Right, so we go back. Okay. Okay, so we've now got volume with a volume, just strange that it's got it there. Okay, and then it's got an audio protocol, which is DP or UAC. Guessing UAC is the one. And then we've got a link to the shortcut button, reset fire, and then sensor calibration. Okay. Okay, well that's failed apparently. Okay, so this was asking for a headphone. Keep it playing. I think that's just because of the audio difference. Okay, so place the glass on a flat table, and then in theory it should pop. I'm guessing it will. Let's try it back in. Okay, so anchor mode. Okay, so that's pretty stable, but actually really annoying because when you move your head, it just disappears. Unless you're watching it with the exact same thing. Right, now I need to hopefully. Okay, so this is interesting. If I hold this down, it then does the pass through, which is better because if you pass through. Or not have any pass through, you can still see what you're doing, and then still have that docked, so you in theory could dock it into a particular location and then just not move it from it. Okay, let's get it tracking again. Follow. Yeah, right, one of the annoying things as well is this click, which you probably heard, which is where you can position them down or up so you can see the full screen. It seems to be okay, but I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens with other kind of streams. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move from this to something which is making too much noise, which is the quickly open up the just a fingerprint on it. Okay, so we've got just this. I'm just going to plug in, which is the standard USB onto it. It's running Windows 10, so the XREAL thing kicks in. It then also says, what is this connection? It's optimized for headphones. Optimize my device. Thank you. Right, I'm going to put headphones. Optimize. No thanks. Okay, so it is putting it full screen. So if I put on something like this, it is weird because when I move, it's got a few seconds delay, and then it kind of doesn't allow me to see the full screen. I don't know if you were able to see. Well, you can see, so you can see there's a partially. You can probably hear the sound as well. Okay, we'll just log in with Jonathan.ai. You're really going to have to keep your head really still with this, otherwise it's just going to keep on auto tracking. So it does feel brighter if I just do the standard click. Anchor, now follow. I'll turn the brightness up to max, so apparently the brightness on this goes to 5000 nits, whatever that is. Right, see how laggy it is. Not probably a great example because this is running in the display. It's using the Intel graphics adaptive with the XRESS sharpening for the NPU which exists on it. So you can probably see the frame rate's not actually that great, but in theory it's under 120 frames per second or 120 hertz. This is saying I can only get 27 frames per second at 38 milliseconds frame rate delay, so need something that's going to be a bit more solid inside it. I'm just going to check if I unplug that, plug in the splitter, and then feed it into the display. Do I get anything? Oh, XREAL starting. Oh yeah, it seems to find that. My question is now, does it let the pass through of the plug as well? No real way of working that out without just going to this button here. Yeah, no power push through on that one, unfortunately. Okay, right, so that's the MS Claw, not the AI MS Claw, which just come out. But leave that there. Let's see what happens when I do the exact same thing, but this time pass it through to the Steam Deck. And the thing with the Steam Deck is, as you can probably see, it's minus its update, and it will turn off the screen, which is good because obviously it saves the battery, and then it passes it straight to this screen, and then obviously that's. Can't see, or you can partially see now the screen, but I think as soon as you take it off, it turns itself off. Tracking is a little bit slow, which is annoying. So 32.9 ultra wide screen is what it says it's got. 120 hertz, 50 field of view, X1 chip, sound engineered by Bose. Sony 0.68 OLED, does look very good, the OLED. Low blue light, flicker free, adjustable IPD. I'm going to have to mess around with that, I think. And the theatre mode, I think it's probably need a bit of extra work on it, but otherwise I think it looks pretty good. I'll try it with something which has a bit more of a higher frame rate than the previous ones. But otherwise, yeah, I would say they're probably as good as the original ones, which is good because it means I don't have to buy other ones. And as you can probably see, the problem with these is they break. So I've had to stick them together because they're just so flexible there. If you try and have any lean on them or use them for any period of time, they just nearly snap. And then because they're close, you actually they start overheating. So you have to be careful. But anyway, I will let people know